And we're going to make a plate because the curvature of a plate allows us to more clearly see how the bowl gouge cuts. You can draw out your circumference like this and then freehand it on the bandsaw. The next step is to drill a hole in the plate so that we can attach it to the screw chuck. But before we do that, we want to measure the length of the screw so that we don't drill a hole all the way through the blank. We want to stop the machine and adjust the tool rest to where it's just below the center, and we'll mark the center. And we want to adjust the tool rest one more time. And then, with our caliper set at about 1 inch or whatever works for the particular chuck you're using, I'm going to make a mark. And we're going to come in with the Bidan tool. Still needs to be a little bit lower. And we can speed this up a little bit now to about 1,000 or 1,500 RPMs. Make our recess. This is basically just a scraping cut. And then we want to outline where our foot is going to be and leave at least a 1/2 inch. And now we can pick up our bowl gouge and we can start shaping the bottom of the plate. We're going to start with the bevel up against the material, the tool handle against our body, and very slowly and carefully roll the tool over until we start cutting. And we want to keep the tool handle perpendicular to our body and use our full body to rotate so that we get a nice clean curve all the way from what's going to become the foot up to the rim. These don't have to be real heavy cuts. You're more interested in finesse rather than heavy cuts. Now I'm going to stop and move the tool rest a little closer so that I have more control and continue that same cut. As I get close to what's going to become the foot, I want to detail that just slightly. In order to do that, I'm going to take just the tip of the tool and roll it in just to give me a little rise. This will create an additional shadow line and make it appear a little bit deeper. Once I have the basic shape that I want, I'm going to move the tool rest and lower the tool handle so that I can make a nice clean shear cut for a finish. This will produce real fine angel hair shaped shaving. It'll also get rid of all those little scratch marks or ridges that have been left in the surface. Once we've made that finishing cut, we should be rid of most of the ridges and have a really nice surface that doesn't take much sanding at all. Now we'll unscrew the plate from the screw chuck. And we're going to place it flat on the lathe bed. We'll take the screw out of the chuck and remove the chuck from the lathe. We're going to completely close the chuck. Drop it into the recess. Once we have it in the recess, we'll open it just a little bit, make sure that it's properly seated, and then tighten it up. It's better to put it down flat on a surface than try to attach the chuck to the plate on the lathe. This way you'll get it properly seated. We're going to place the tool rest so that we can trim the perimeter of it about 1/4 inch from the surface, and spin it a couple of times to make sure that it's going to clear. And then I can turn it on, and with my tool handle way down my side, I'm going to trim the edge. This has to be a very light cut so that you don't pick up the fibers of the wood and rip them off. Once I've trimmed the edge of the material, I want to check it by hand and make sure that I have gotten rid of all the saw marks, and here we have a few. You never want to do this with the machine running. You always want to stop it. We're making one more pass. And I believe we're clean.